you decide to market your brand is how you show up in the world. Just Marketing is committed to making a difference through being and building ethical, anti-racist, and equitable businesses. If we haven't met yet, my name is Meg Brunson, my pronouns are she, her, and Just Marketing combines my mission to build a more accessible and inclusive world with my expertise in the digital marketing space. Let's do this. Have you ever noticed how often brands limit the images they use to young, white, straight, able-bodied, cisgender people, and especially men? There is a frustrating lack of diversity in marketing. And while this trend is shifting slightly, it's a change that is way overdue, and there is still a ton of progress to be made. There is a whole world of difference in the people that are around us. And if you want to be truly inclusive in your marketing, it's time to start thinking about the diversity, not only of your existing audience, but of the people that you want to be in your audience. And we need to ensure that that same diversity is reflected in the images that we're using to promote our business. Diversity doesn't end with gender, race, or ethnicity. It also honors a variety of abilities, cultures, ages, sexual orientations, body sizes, and statuses. Stereotypes are also common, misrepresenting and oversimplifying groups of people by suggesting common standards. These stereotypes imply certain people do certain things in given situations, and they have to be avoided. So while we are diversifying our imagery, we also have to make sure we're avoiding anything that is stereotyping. So, for example, images used in marketing commonly will stereotype women as cleaning, as being the caregiver, as being a mom. They will categorize romance as heterosexual, and they'll categorize families as monochromatic. And what I mean by this is, not only are Caucasian or white families more often represented, but if there is diversity, it's all or nothing. So you may see an all-white family, an all-black family, an all-Asian family, but we rarely see any mixed race families. And being a mixed race family myself, that's something that I notice is missing from marketing in many cases. This can lead to racism, ageism, sexism, a whole bunch of isms, and it can leave out several other non-diverse groups. All too often, many diverse populations are simply left out of marketing messages. Many brands have gravitated towards young, white, straight, able-bodied, cisgender men for decades. And this has left out the vast majority of people across the world: women, ethnic groups, various cultures, disabled people, gender nonconforming people, just to name a few. The list goes on and on. In fact, there was a really fascinating study, a 2019 study of film-based advertising. And in that study, I'll link to it in the show notes because I think it's totally worth looking through. It's very interesting. The number of male characters, male models in these video-based ads outnumbered the number of female models 2-1. So that's twice as many men to women characters in advertising. And men were given twice the screen time and twice the number of speaking roles. Men were also depicted as funny and leaders, whereas women are overly sexualized. When it comes to people with disabilities, the same study showed that only 2.2% of the characters in advertisements had a disability, while 19% of the population actually does have a disability. So those numbers aren't level, they're not standard. And the number of LGBTQIA plus people was even lower than that. So these are all just some dismal statistics that this study shows that we have to be aware of as just marketers. We have the ability to impact change in these areas by ensuring that we are representing a more diverse audience in our marketing strategies. So for far too long, images have depicted a specific look in the models and characters that are used. I'm saying characters because it's not just on actual people, like models. It's also illustrations and things like that are overwhelmingly white. They often lead the reader to believe that they should want to be more like that image is the standard that we should be seeking to become. That's not reality, and it shouldn't be the way that people learn to view themselves. Unfortunately, that same 2019 study also found that 7.2% of characters had large body types, whereas almost 40% of the general population are larger in size. So bigger-bodied people are less often represented in marketing, even though bigger-bodied people are a fairly large segment of the population. No pun intended there. And larger people are stereotyped in advertising. They're often depicted as lazy, or they're shown eating and drinking more often than smaller-bodied people. Body positivity is something that's really important to me as a plus-size woman, and I love seeing ads that feature larger models, and larger models with a variety of body shapes and sizes. I know Torrid is a company that caters to plus-size fashion, so of course it makes sense that they use a variety of plus-size models, but I feel like they knock it out of the park. They always have a variety of models pictured for every, when you go into shop for something on their site, you can see a variety of different people with a variety of different body sizes, so you can really get a feel for what that clothing would look like on you based on your own size and body shape. I've also seen some really great ads on social with the LGBTQIA plus community in mind. I wish I had a screenshot handy. I'm going to keep my eye out for a similar ad, or the same ad pops up every once in a while in my feed. But it is a company that's promoting menstrual products, and the person that they're using in this ad is gender diverse. They appear to me to be non-binary, gender non-conforming. I don't know how they exactly identify, right? Because it's just an image, but it's not that typical, very feminine-looking female. So in this post with this gender diverse person promoting menstrual products, there were so many amazing and beautiful comments. People stating that they finally felt seen for the first time. Tons of praise was given to this company for the way that they chose to promote this product. Sure, there's some haters. There's always going to be some haters, but by far, it was more positive feedback than negative. Catering to a more diverse population in your brand is not only the right thing to do as a human, but it's also a really effective way to grow your brand. By making more people feel seen in the images that you use, you'll by default connect with a wider audience. So, how can you ensure that you're being diverse in your marketing? The easiest way is to find and use diverse stock photos. Now, if your business is in a place where you actually are like hiring models and doing your own photo shoots, that's a different story. But most of the clients I work with, and myself, I'm using mostly diverse stock photos in order to accomplish the goal of being more diverse visually in my marketing. So the first thing you'll want to do is evaluate the images that you're currently using and determine if there's a problem. Do most of the people look the same? Remember, you aren't just looking at physical appearance, all right? So this isn't just Black people and white people. You're also looking for stereotypes and other characteristics of diversity, like age, religion, location, culture, LGBTQIA plus identification. You want to look for a variety of people. Body size, that was another one we mentioned earlier. So I've done some research. I found some really great places where you can find free, diverse images. The first site I recommend is genderphotos.vice.com. The Gender Spectrum Collection is a free LGBTQIA plus stock photo library, and they have some beautiful photos to choose from. Let me say right here that with all of these websites I'm going to recommend. I also recommend you go to the website and learn about their specific crediting policies so that you can, many of them ask you to put a credit in the caption of the photo that, credits the photographer or the site where you got the free photos from. So make sure you check that on these various different platforms. The other website I want to share is a site that has stock photos of women in color in tech. Now, this URL is very long, so if you head to the show notes, it'll be easier to grab it that way. It is WOCINTECHCHAT. That's WOC, Women of Color, in techchat.com/blog/WOC in tech photos. Really hard to read. Please head to the show notes and get that link. There is also a great site called nappy.co. Beautiful photos of Black and brown people for free for your use. Now, if you have the budget to access paid stock photo sites, I have a couple recommendations for you as well. Tonal, that's spelled TONL.co, provides culturally diverse stock photos representing the true world we live in. DiversityPhotos.com offers visual content that authentically represents our global community. Create Her Stock offers authentic stock images featuring melanated women. BlackIllustrations.com. These are graphic illustrations of Black people for your next digital product. Remember, I mentioned it's not just actual photos that need to be diverse, it's also the illustrations that we're using. Finally, I'm going to plug depositphoto.com. This is a more general stock footage site, but you are able to search by age, ethnicity, and or gender when you are searching for content. And I found some decent stuff on that site. In the end, being inclusive is kind and also good for business. You care about people, so show that your business and brand care about people too. Show that you're willing to go the extra mile to find images that will allow you to create diverse content. Again, you'll find all of the links to those stock photo resources in the show notes, and I encourage you to check them out and make your next images more diverse. We have made Just Marketing accessible to you however you prefer to consume your content. Subscribe and listen on your favorite podcast player. Subscribe on our YouTube channel to watch the videos or read our transcriptions on the blog, and you can subscribe there as well. We'd appreciate honest reviews wherever you are listening. And of course, if you would share this content with anyone who is or should be on a Just Marketing journey. Thank you so much for being with us again today. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.